Now let us consider one more NFA for which will accept strings of length let us say exactly 2. Now I want a NFA which accepts strings of length exactly 2. Now what are such strings? Language contains AA, AB, BA, BB, right? Let us assume sigma equal to A comma B. Then how does the NFA look like? So NFA should accept, this is 0 length string A or B, 1 length string A or B, 2 length string. So we are exactly accepting 2 length strings. Let us say this is A, this is B, this is C state. That's it. We are not going to decide about what happens if a C sees A or B, right? Now let us say strings of length at least 2. Strings of length at least 2. How does it look like? So strings of length 0 is A, strings of length 1 is B, and strings of length 2 is C. At least 2 means 2 or more, A comma B. Now let us see about at most 2. At most 2, which means strings of length 0 has to be accepted, and strings of length 1 has to be accepted, and strings of length 2 has to be accepted. So of 0, of 1, of 2. So at most 2. Now you can think of this as strings of length n. If the question is what is the minimal number of states that are present in a finite automata which accepts set of all strings of length n, then the answer is n. So if they ask it for DFA answer is going to change, but for NFA, if we have to accept strings of length n at exactly n or at least n or at most n, for NFA it is going to be n states. So any problem we can take, we can argue that NFA will have less number of states compared to DFA if you are looking at the minimal NFA and minimal DFA. For example, let us say there is a language L1 for which you are able to give DFA D1 and NFA N1. Then if both are minimal, you can argue that NFA will contain at least or DFA will contain at least as many states as NFA, which means if I count the number of states of DFA, that will be greater than or equal to, in some cases equal to also, right? And NFA will always be, number of states in NFA will always be less than or equal to. So in the exam, if they ask about finite automata, in the exam if they just ask about what is the minimal number of states in a finite automata, always go with NFA. If the options are not there, then you can go with DFA. But if the exam, in the exam if they ask about a minimal state finite automata, always go with NFA. Okay.